In the desolate, sun-scorched landscape of Nevada, there's a cave. Its entrance, a dark gash on a lonely mountainside, has silently witnessed millennia of history. For most of that time, it was home to nothing but bats. But buried deep beneath layers of earth and guano, it held a secret. A secret that, once unearthed, would blur the line between folklore and fact and ignite a controversy that still burns today. This is the story of Lovelock Cave and the terrifying legend of the cannibal giants who are said to have met their fiery end there. Native American legends from the Paiute people tell of a brutal, ancient war against a tribe of red-haired, cannibalistic giants. For generations, these were just stories, frightening tales told around the campfire. But then, in 1911, a couple of miners digging for fertilizer in that same Nevada cave found something that made everyone stop and wonder. Buried in the dark, they unearthed a sandal, 15 inches long. This single discovery would kickstart a historical mystery, forcing us all to ask, were the legends actually real? The story starts with the oral traditions of the northern Paiute. Long before settlers ever arrived, they spoke of a fearsome enemy. The name roughly translates to Tula Eaters, after the fibrous water plant they supposedly wove into rafts to cross the ancient Lake Lahontan. According to the legend, the Siteka were a ferocious people, described as being unusually tall with fiery red hair. They weren't just hostile and aggressive, they were cannibals, preying on the Paiute and other local tribes. This oral history was famously written down in 1883 by Sarah Winnemucca Hopkins, the daughter of a Paiute chief. In her book, she wrote about a small tribe of barbarians that her people fought a great war against. She said, "My people say that the tribe we exterminated had reddish hair. I have some of their hair, which has been handed down from father to son." Winnemucca even claimed to have a family dress that was trimmed with this red hair. The legend ends with a final, desperate battle. After years of brutal fighting, a coalition of tribes banded together to stop the Siteka's reign of terror once and for all. They chased the last of their enemies into a large cave. When the Siteka refused to come out, the tribes piled brush in front of the entrance and set it on fire. Those who tried to escape were met with a volley of arrows. Those who stayed inside suffocated in the smoke, their final fortress becoming their tomb. For centuries, that's where the story ended. A powerful legend of a war against a terrible foe, safely confined to the world of folklore. But a real-world discovery was about to challenge everything. Fast forward to 1911. Two miners, David Pugh and James Hart, weren't looking for giants. They were looking for bat guano, which was a key ingredient in fertilizer and surprisingly valuable. They secured the rights to dig in a cave about 22 miles south of the town of Lovelock. As they dug through feet of guano, they started finding things, strange things. Woven baskets, fishing nets, and incredible duck decoys so well preserved they're now considered some of the oldest ever found in North America. But they also found human remains. As the miners kept digging, often carelessly destroying artifacts, word got out. Newspapers began running sensational headlines about the discovery of giant skeletons, with some reports claiming they were 7, 8, or even 10 feet tall. One of the first miners, James Hart, recalled finding the mummified body of a man he said was 6 feet 6 inches tall, with distinctly red hair. Now, for that time period, a person that tall would have certainly seemed like a giant. Suddenly, the Paiute legend didn't sound so legendary. Here was a cave, matching the one from the stories, filled with unusually large skeletons and red hair. The miners also reported other strange clues, a handprint on a cave wall that was supposedly twice the size of a normal man's. And of course, that sandal. At 15 inches long, it would be a modern men's size 29 shoe, far too big for an average person. The discovery sparked a firestorm of excitement. Archaeologists from the University of California finally showed up in 1912 to do a proper excavation, but the question was already on everyone's lips. Had they found proof of America's cannibal giants? Once professional archaeologists like Llewellyn L. Loud and M.R. Harrington began their work in 1912 and 1924, a much more complicated and less sensational picture started to emerge. The cave was, without a doubt, an archaeological treasure trove, holding over 10,000 artifacts that painted a rich picture of life in the Great Basin thousands of years ago. But what about the giants? This is where the story splits. On one path, you have the sensational lore. On the other, you have scientific analysis. The wild tales of 8 to 10-foot skeletons have never been supported by any credible evidence. Scientific analysis of the recovered remains concluded that the people of Lovelock Cave were robust, but not giants. The skeletons fell within normal human size, with the tallest men being around 6 to 6.5 feet tall. While that's certainly tall for the era, it's not superhuman. The Humboldt Museum, which held many of the artifacts, has been clear that the remains were not outside the range of normal human variation. Okay, so what about the red hair? Sarah Winnemucca's account proves the red-haired people existed before the excavation. But scientists have a pretty simple explanation for the hair found in the cave. Hair pigment isn't stable after death. Over hundreds or thousands of years, the unique chemistry of the soil and the dry cave environment can turn dark black hair into a rusty red or orange color. And the 15-inch sandal? While it sounds like a smoking gun, archaeologists say it isn't definitive proof. It could have been purely ceremonial, or maybe it was an over-sandal, worn over other shoes for protection, making it seem much bigger than the foot inside. Even the evidence for cannibalism is shaky. While some bones were cracked open, suggesting marrow was extracted, archaeologists noted this could easily be a sign of survival cannibalism during a famine, not the systematic predation the legend describes. The scientific consensus is pretty clear. The finds at Lovelock Cave just don't prove the existence of a race of red-haired giants. So if science says there were no giants, where did all the giant skeletons go? This is where the story veers into conspiracy theories. Many people who believe the legend claim the evidence was suppressed on purpose. You'll hear stories of the Smithsonian Institution swooping in to collect and hide giant skeletons to protect the established historical narrative. The reality, however, is a lot less conspiratorial and more a product of the times. Back in the early 1900s, archaeological methods were sloppy. The guano miners destroyed countless artifacts and remains before any scientists ever got there. Some of the best preserved mummies were reportedly taken by a local fraternal lodge and destroyed in bizarre initiation rituals. Other bones ended up in private collections and have simply been lost to time. But the biggest factor is a federal law passed in 1990 called the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, or NAGPRA. This law requires institutions to return Native American remains and cultural items to their affiliated tribes. The Humboldt Museum, for instance, has stated that in compliance with NAGPRA and out of respect for Native peoples, all human remains from Lovelock Cave in their possession have been rightfully returned to the Paiute tribe. So the absence of giant skeletons in museum basements isn't proof of a cover-up. It's the result of careless early digging, scattered evidence, and the long overdue return of ancestors to their descendants. So, where does that leave us? On one hand, we have the powerful legend of the Seat Ka, a cultural memory of a war so important that it was passed down for generations. On the other, we have the archaeology of Lovelock Cave, which gives us a remarkable, tangible window into the lives of the people who lived there thousands of years ago. We have evidence of tall people, we have remains with reddish hair, and we have a legend about a final, fiery battle in a cave. Science tells us there were no giants, that the red hair is a trick of chemistry, and that the missing bones are explained by repatriation and poor record-keeping, not a grand conspiracy. And yet, the legend refuses to die, fueled by those tantalizing artifacts and our own deep-seated desire to believe that the world once held wonders and terrors greater than we can imagine. The story of Lovelock Cave isn't a simple case of fact versus fiction. It's a complex tapestry woven from oral tradition, sensationalism, and science. It reminds us that history isn't just what we dig up, but also the stories we tell about it. What do you think really happened at Lovelock Cave? Was the legend of the Site Ka a memory of a real war against a rival tribe, just embellished over the years? Or is there something more to the story that science has yet to figure out? Let us know your theories down in the comments. And if you enjoy digging into the line between myth and history, Make sure you like this video and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown.